to Stinchfield. What a day in Washington. I would say the grilling of FBI Director Christopher Wray lived up to the hype. The GOP members of Congress that were on this committee that got to question Christopher Wray came with the heat. And they talked about January 6th, how many undercover agents were in there. They talked about targeting Catholics and having FBI agents go and try to get confidential informants inside Catholic churches because they were labeling them radicals and possible domestic terrorists. There were the FISA abuses, spying on everyone, including FBI agents' ex-girlfriends, using the FISA warrant system. How crazy is that? And then, of course, you talk about the targeting of mama bears in these schools. All of it and more was part of the questioning of Christopher Wray today. What got exposed to me was the arrogance of the deep state. That was at the forefront of all of this. This is Matt Gaetz, who did a fabulous job grilling Christopher Wray. This is Matt Gaetz talking about that text message that Hunter Biden said to a Chinese executive that really amounted to a shakedown, threatening the Biden family power for the money and phone calls. Watch.
I'm sitting here with my father. I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. I am sitting here waiting for the call with my father. Sounds like a shakedown, doesn't it, Director?
I'm not going to get into commenting on that.
You seem deeply uncurious about it, don't you? Almost suspiciously uncurious. Are you protecting the Bidens?
Absolutely not. The FBI does not and has no interest in
You won't answer the question about whether or not that's a shakedown, and everybody knows why you won't answer it.
This is what I mean by arrogance. Just to answer the question, show that you have some critical thinking skills. Now, I understand that Christopher Wray is a law enforcement officer, right? So you can't just say absolutely it was a shakedown, but here's what you can say if you're Christopher Wray. That email is troubling. It sure sounds like a shakedown. I've been involved in a lot of these investigations. It's our job to get to the bottom of it. Let's uncover some evidence that either proves it is or is not a shakedown. But I see where you're coming from, Congressman. No, he can't do that because what Christopher Wray's main job is to protect the Bidens and the Democrats at all costs. It's why he is part of the deep state. Matt Gaetz continued. This time he talked about FISA warrants. These are the warrants that are used to spy on American citizens. Listen.
How many illegal FISA queries have occurred under your leadership of the FBI?
Well, there are reports that have come out with different numbers about compliance incidents.
More than 1 million illegal ones? Because that's what the Inspector General said. The court said it was over 200,000 that have occurred on your watch. Do you have any basis to disagree with that assessment?
Again, I don't have the number as I sit here right now. What I can
Seems like a number you should know. How many times the FBI is breaking the law under your watch, especially if it's like over 1 million, to not know that number?
Is Christopher Wray unprepared? Or is he purposefully unprepared, doesn't want to answer the questions, wants to cover for the FBI, which has been so abusive to conservatives, so abusive to Americans, so abusive towards President Trump, so abusive towards anybody that believes in freedom? This agency needs to be broken down. This agency needs to have top brass ripped from it and built back up from the ground up. Jim Jordan says, hey, let's move it to Alabama. I don't know if you can do away with the FBI. You need an organization like it, right? There has to be a federal agency that investigates national crimes. But I don't know, maybe you change the name of the FBI, you rid them of leadership, you move it to Alabama, as Jim Jordan says, and you do a total rebrand. It would be a start, because what was on display was a total disgrace. And Matt Gaetz, maybe the best moment of all was this, when Christopher Wray thought he was sticking it to Gaetz, and Gaetz took it right back to him.
You preside over the FBI that has the lowest level of trust in the FBI's history. People trusted the FBI more when J. Edgar Hoover was running the place than when you are. And the reason is because you don't give straight answers. You give answers that later a court deems aren't true. And then at the end of the day, you won't criticize an obvious shakedown when it's directly in front of us. And it appears as though you're whitewashing the conduct of corrupt people.
Respectfully, Congressman, in your home state of Florida, the number of people applying to come work for us and devote their lives working for us is up over 100%.
We're deeply proud of them, and they deserve better than you.
I mean, that's the best line going. Cruiser Ray thinks, we've got twice as many people applying to be FBI agents in Florida than we ever had before. We're proud of them. They deserve better than you. It's a great line from Matt Gaetz. What is that? Up 100%. It went from 1 to 2 people applying now? We didn't really get the whole number, did we? January 6th was a topic of discussion today. We know that there were federal agents embedded in the crowds in January 6th. It's been proven and testified about over and over again, testified for people under oath. We just heard Tucker Carlson talk about interviewing the chief of the Capitol Police who said there were dozens of undercover agents. Well, our friend, the congressman from Arizona, Andy Biggs, asked Christopher Wray about this.
That those who were there in an undercover capacity on January 6th, how many were there?
Again, I'm not sure that I can give you that number as I sit here. I'm not sure there were undercover agents on scene.
I find that kind of a remarkable statement, Director. At this point, you don't know whether there were undercover federal agents, FBI agents in the crowd or in the Capitol on January 6th.
I say that because I want to be very careful. There have been a number of court filings related to some of these topics, and I want to make sure that I stick within what's in.
The court filings all say there were undercover agents January 6th that were ginning up the crowd. They were agitators, government agitators. Now, Christopher Wray knows who works for the FBI. He knows who are agents. And you should know if some have been dispatched to the Capitol on January 6th. It's a very simple question. Yes or no? I can tell you there were at least X amount, but instead he doesn't want to answer. Stonewalling, it's arrogance, and it's an insult to the American people. The GOP was relentless today. It's good to see finally they get a little relentless. Chip Roy talked about the FBI's use of SWAT teams on good conservatives who are willing to turn themselves in and talk to FBI agents. Instead, they show up armed to the hilt.
Do you believe that FBI agents should go to the home of a father in Philadelphia suburbs?
I'm not going to second guess the judgment of the career agents on the ground who made the determination.
But your job is to second guess and look at what they're doing. Your job is to review what they do. Your job is to protect the American people from a tyrannical FBI storming the home of an American family.
I could not disagree more with your description of the FBI as tyrannical. And I
don't believe it's tyrannical that FBI agents were a part of storming a father's home in suburban Philadelphia?
If the father's an Islamic terrorist and he's got bombs in his house, then you storm it with a SWAT team all you want. If the father happens to be a pro-life activist who has talked to agents on the phone and said, I'll gladly turn myself in so you can interview me, I don't think you need to show up with a SWAT team. Yes, Chip Roy, that is tyrannical. Christopher Wray, it's tyrannical and it's unnecessary. And the truth is it puts people in danger. De-escalation should always be the first option. Instead, that's not what you do. They showed up to this man's home with a SWAT team, and look, they showed up to President Trump's home, basically armed to the hilt, with agents storming in and seizing all kinds of things when the same situation was going on. President Trump was talking to the National Archives and the FBI as well. So, maybe the most disturbing of all, Jim Jordan brought up. It was a thing of Catholics and Catholic churches. My Aunt Judy, God rest her soul, died just a few months ago. She was Catholic. She went to church every Sunday. She's not a domestic terrorist. She's not a radical. Yes, she's pro-life. Yes, she believes in freedom. And yes, she's a Make America Great Again Republican who loved President Trump. But that doesn't make her a terrorist. It has to be infiltrated at Our Lady of Fatima. But this is apparently what was going on in Richmond, Virginia. Jim Jordan, roll it.
Doctor, what's the difference between a traditional Catholic and a radical traditional Catholic?
I'm not an expert on the Catholic orders.
Well, your FBI wrote a memo talking about radical traditional Catholics. I'm just wondering if you can define it for us.
Well, what I can tell you is you're referring to the Richmond product, which was a single product by a single field office, which as soon as I found out about it, I was aghast and ordered it withdrawn and removed from FBI systems.
You were aghast, then why won't you let us talk to the people who put it together?
We are working on finishing an internal review into what happened there.
We have to wait. We, the Congress, and the American people have to wait until you do an internal review. It's not a criminal investigation going on here.
You see, Congress has oversight of the FBI. I don't care about the FBI's internal review. I don't trust it anyway. Congress should be demanding, subpoenaing these people. So, Jim Jordan, you know I love him. James Comer, I love him too. Use your subpoena power. Get Hunter Biden in, for crying out loud. It was a decent job with Christopher Wray today, though. It really was, and it was on display, the arrogance of the deep state and how far it will go to go after anybody that disagrees with this leftist mentality. Well, joining me now is Trump campaign attorney and author of the book Stealing Your Vote, the inside story of the 2020 election and what it means for 2024. Christina Bobb is back with us. Christina, welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me.
What did you make of today?
I thought your summary was perfect. I thought Director Wray was all over the place. He was evading. He was playing judge and jury, hiding behind internal investigations, hiding behind, oh, it's an ongoing criminal investigation, not giving straight answers. This is something, it's a technique that the FBI has been using for several years now. We saw Director Comey do it back when he was the director, talking about Crossfire Hurricane. We now know that he had lied under oath. And I think it's starting to become very apparent they can't hide behind this anymore, that they're basically playing little dictator by deciding who goes to jail, who doesn't, for what, all for political reasons, all for political gain, to preserve their own power. So I thought his testimony was horrendous. I thought the members of Congress, I agreed with your assessment that the members of Congress did a good job trying to nail him down. And it's about time the American people deserve some real justice, that we hold the people in the FBI accountable.
All right, I played all Republicans in my little monologue there. I want to play a Democrat for you because you're a campaign attorney for President Trump.
Right.
I found this absolutely laughable from Eric Swalwell, the guy who was sleeping with a Chinese spy, the congressman from California. Right. Listen to this soundbite from him today.
You're essentially saying to the American people that you're guardians of personal security and privacy, but the 2020 election was determined because the FBI didn't let more Americans see a private citizen's non-consensual nudes? Is that what we're saying here? That you lost the election not because of your ideas, but because a private citizen's laptop
Do you want an answer?
wasn't out there?
Will you yield?
That's bananas.
He's talking about Hunter Biden's laptop and the absolute censorship of it, calling it bananas. Christina Bobb?
Yeah, well, Eric Swalwell's an idiot, and everybody knows that at this point. No, the fact that the FBI suppressed Hunter Biden's laptop and that the Biden campaign, remember this isn't the Biden administration yet, it's the Biden campaign, collaborated with 51 intelligence officials to say that the laptop was Russian disinformation. The FBI collaborated with big tech to push that and censor free speech online. That's what we have a problem with. We have a problem with the fact that the FBI also covered up the 1023 form showing that the Bidens combined received $10 million from Ukraine for the purpose of policy changes while Joe Biden was the vice president. The FBI covered that up during the 2020 election. So the fact that Swalwell can't figure out that this isn't about the nude pictures, which could lead to child pornography that has been alluded to on Hunter Biden's laptop, that's not the issue here. The issue here is that the FBI is covering up crimes of the Biden family, and the American people deserve answers, and the American people deserve justice.
Yeah, that laptop has been a treasure trove of information that certainly spells out to me that the Biden crime family is very real, and they were shaking down foreign governments and entities all over the place to profit. It's interesting, though, that the FBI will go to such great lengths to go after conservatives. They're going after President Trump on January 6th stuff, which makes no sense to me. Yet maybe the ones who committed real crimes surrounding January 6th might be Christopher Wray in the form of perjury. Here's Matt Gaetz talking about that, cut 3.
There, Senator Lee's asking you whether or not FISA was in any way involved in your January 6th investigation, and you say no. Was that truthful?
I said that I did not believe it was.
Okay, so now let's pull up what the court said, which was something a little different than what you said. It says, the government has reported additional significant violations of the querying standard, including several relating to the January 6, 2021 breach of the Capitol. So I guess the question, Director Wray, is did you not know when you were answering these questions that the FBI was engaging in these illegal searches, or did you perjure yourself to Senator Lee?
I certainly didn't perjure myself at the
Well, I don't think that's clear. It certainly looks to me, Christina Bobb, like he did perjure himself. And illegal uses of FISA seems to me to be a real crime perpetrated against Americans, as opposed to phony crimes they try to nail President Trump with.
Yeah, it's looking like the FBI really is a political law enforcement machine, basically criminalizing political opposition. They're clearly only going after conservatives. They're covering up for legitimate bribery claims and tax evasion with the Bidens, but then they're going after grandmas who were protesting. They're going after parents at school board. They're going after Catholics, as you mentioned. They're going after President Trump. They're raiding President Trump. I mean, the only thing that the FBI is targeting is conservatives. So I think Congress is doing a very good thing by taking a closer look at this. I think Christopher Wray should be very, very nervous about a change of power coming when President Trump gets back into office, because I think he'll lay bare what the FBI actually has been doing.
You know, the American people now have seen firsthand the lengths they will go to get President Trump, the hurdles they will jump through to try to make things up about him from the moment he came down that escalator. But what we heard today was a lot about them going after everyday Americans. And President Trump was one of the first to say it. They don't just want me, he said. They're coming after you. And I think that was on display today. Christine, I'll give you the last word.
I think you're exactly right. Good on the Republicans in Congress today. I hope they keep the pressure up. And I hope Americans stay encouraged, because we're winning. We're going to clean up the corruption in our government. I
would like to add, I hope they finally subpoena Hunter Biden. That's who they should be subpoenaing to Congress. Christina Bobb, thank you. Good luck in the campaign. We appreciate you coming on tonight.
Thank you so much.
All right, folks, one thing that I take very seriously, I talk to you about this all the time, is my health. How am I going to keep up a fight like this if I'm not healthy? So I know I need fruits and vegetables. I don't always like eating them. But so here's what I do. I use Field of Greens. It's amazing, it's easy, it tastes great, and it gives me all I need when it comes to fruits and vegetables. Each specific fruit and vegetable in Field of Greens is medically selected to support specific functions like heart health, liver and kidney health, immune system, and metabolism. So here's my challenge to you. Take Field of Greens, and if your friends don't say, hey man, you're looking great, if your doctor doesn't say, keep it up, bro. If your doctor is right there with you, and if he's not, Field of Greens will refund your money guaranteed. So to help you get started, I got you 15% off your first order, plus get another 10% off when you subscribe for reoccurring orders of Field of Greens. So visit fieldofgreens.com, use promo code GRANT, that's fieldofgreens.com, promo code GRANT. All right, President Biden's conduct, Joe Biden, as I call him, I don't like to call him the president, at the NATO summit should leave us all concerned. It's a national security risk, really. I'll show you all of it. Well, it's only just part of it right there you're looking at. Stick with me.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, ride your bike. If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it.
If you're happy and you know it, smile big and bright.
Thousands of kids just like me are happy every day.
And it's all because of generous people like you who support Shriners Hospitals for Children every month.
All you have to do is call the number on your screen or go online to loveshriners.org right now with your monthly gift.
Because of people like you, Shriners Hospitals for Children is able to make an everyday miracle happen for kids like me. If you're happy and you know it, dance around. If you're happy and you know it, play a song.
If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it.
If you're happy and you know it, take a shot.
And when you call or go online right now to donate $19 a month or more, we'll send you this adorable Love to the Rescue blanket as a thank you and a reminder of all the smiles you're bringing to kids' faces every day.
Will today be the day you send your love to the rescue?
When you call the number on your screen right now and give as little as $19 a month, just 63 cents a day, you'll be making a life-changing difference for a child, just like Sarah.
Your monthly gift today could change your life forever.
Because of you.
We are happy and we know it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please call or go online right now to give. If operators are busy, please wait patiently or go to loveshriners.org right away.
I work at Lumi Deodorant, and I'm going to tell you how to get the best deal on Lumi. It's the starter pack. You pick 2 full-size deodorants, and you get 2 mystery items for free and free shipping. So now's your chance to try Lumi Whole Body Deodorant with 72 hours of odor control.
Oh no, you hate coming home to a dark house. You need the Bell & Howell Bionic Spotlight. The instant the motion sensor detects movement, Bionic Spotlight triggers 8 high-intensity LED lights that shower the entire area with light and then shuts off 30 seconds after it stops. Get the motion-activated Bionic Spotlight for just $19.95 with free shipping. If you order right now, you can double the offer and just pay a separate fee. 2 Bionic Spotlights backed by our 5-year warranty for one low-value price. And the shipping is free. Here's how to order.
The bathroom of your dreams is only a phone call away with BCI Bath & Shower. We can make your ordinary bath and shower extraordinary. This is not a cookie-cutter design. This is a complete custom build that will fit your every need, and discounts for seniors and military.
How many times do I have to tell you that Joe Biden is a national security threat? Now, you see me smiling about this. How can I smile about the man who calls himself President of the United States being a national security threat? There's really nothing funny about this until you just watch the man in action. He is incompetent. He is feeble. He is incoherent. This is him at the NATO summit.
Soon NATO will be the 32nd freestanding, have 32 freestanding members standing together to defend our people and our territory.
That's your president, Joe Biden. He can't even get through a speech on the teleprompter. Now, apparently he skipped the NATO dinner, as the headline says there, because of workload issues. He was too tired. Can you imagine President Trump too tired that he missed what amounts to a state dinner? Give me a break. How is he too tired, by the way? I just played this video for you of him hanging out on the beach over the weekend, shoveling around, fixing his own janky chair that he pulled out of the Wagoneer, I guess, and had to haul it there himself with Jill dragging a cooler behind it. I don't know. That's the president? You don't have your own private chair? But how is he tired? He was just on the beach. So all of this projects weakness. You want to see maybe the worst sign of weakness? You know, Air Force One has always been a sign of strength. When presidents get on Air Force One, that's the sign of strength. Let's roll that video, guys. Does this portray a sign of strength? He's going in to the hull of Air Force One. He's got to take the small steps because this president can't make it up the big ones. At first, I thought this was a joke someplace, but this is about the 3rd or 4th time I've seen it. him going up the small steps. That portrays weakness. That is very bad. And then he makes mistakes he just shouldn't make to take away his incredibility. And credibility. There is no incredibility. Credibility. Watch.
Vladimir and I shouldn't be so familiar. Mr. Zelensky and I talked about the kind of guarantees we could make in the meantime when I was in Ukraine and when we met in other places. And so today, the long-term commitments we're making.
It doesn't even matter what he says afterwards. First, he says you shouldn't be so familiar by calling him by the wrong first name. Vladimir is Putin's first name. Volodymyr Zelensky is the president of Ukraine. Vladimir. Okay? Different. But this president wouldn't know the difference between Zelensky and Putin, I guess. With me now, former intelligence operations officer and current president of the London Center for Policy Research, Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer is back with us. Colonel, great to see you.
Good to see you too, Greg. Good to be here.
What's the most disturbing there? Him going up the short steps, him botching the teleprompter, him getting Zelensky's name. What's the worst one there, Colonel?
No, I think the worst is he didn't give an update at the summit of Putin's invasion of Iraq. I was looking forward to that, Grant. I was looking forward to hearing about the Russian deployment there, but it didn't come. And but that helps illustrate your very point. I mean, let's face facts. He is our single point of failure in national security. And not only have we recognized this, he has destroyed our international prestige, not only because of the small steps, but just because of his actions. And let me read something out of the Daily Telegraph. This was before the NATO summit. This was last Friday. Biden has a well-earned reputation of being a crude, narcissist politician who exudes incredible arrogance with limited understanding of many foreign issues. He has taken a wrecking ball to America's most important international relationships. That's the British saying this before the summit. This is before his wandering around with Prince Charles, breaking tradition, walking in front of the king. So this is apparent and pervasive. You cannot hide this. And as you said in your opening on this, Grant, there's absolutely no doubt that our enemies see this and recognize it as the weakness that we all see it to be as well.
Let me play a soundbite for you that certainly our enemies, like China, is going to be looking at this, Russia's going to be looking at this and laughing. Our greatest existential threat, you probably can guess what this one is. Roll cut 7.
You know, we all must summon the common will to actually address the existential threat of accelerating climate change. It's real. It's serious. We don't have a lot of time. The world has changed. Will we turn back naked, unchecked aggression today to deter other world would-be aggressors tomorrow? Will we staunch the climate crisis before it's too late?
You know, not that I care much about what Zelensky thinks anymore, but I've got to believe Zelensky's thinking climate change. What about our friends in Israel that are looking at Iran getting a nuclear weapon, thinking climate change?
Right.
What about Taiwan, Colonel? Taiwan think the biggest existential threat is climate change? I don't think so.
Well, no, and let's address that just right up front. There's 3 trillion trees on the planet. That is plant food for them. And I've got a degree in environmental studies. I am just unbelievably upset about the fact that they've politicized this. There is no climate crisis. We have a lot of trees who are very happy with the carbon we have. But let's get back to the national security issues. One of the reasons I think that he's drawing so heavily into our wartime stock, to be honest with you, is the fact that it does weaken us. And I think that's what they want. I think they want an excuse to not be able to respond to Chinese aggression against Taiwan. That's why you've had, by official counts, 41. My sources say it's closer to 50 draws from wartime stocks, which Jake Sullivan's confirmed. He's confirmed. So this is leaving us materially weaker in any potential of taking on a near-peer threat, which is China. So I unfortunately don't believe this is random. I think his inability to focus is significant, but I think there's other things going on behind the scenes that are far more nefarious than what we fully understand at this point. All
right. This is really important to nail down here, Colonel, because I've said I think they're actively trying to destroy America. You've confirmed with an exact example. You think they're drawing down our military reserves because they are actively trying to weaken us so we don't have to take the fight to China.
Look, don't take my word for it. Take Tony Blinken's word for it. He's actually already said that essentially they have no interest in doing anything to quote unquote defend or have an interest in the Taiwanese democracy. I don't know how bigger an open door you can give them. And then obviously, like they did with Afghanistan, look at what they did with Afghanistan as an example, Grant. Just look at that. If you look at what they did there and then the excuses they've given, what better an excuse to say, oh, we'd like to defend Taiwan, but gee, we have nothing left. We don't want to jeopardize American soldiers without the proper equipment. It's a great built-in excuse, and I think, unfortunately, that's where this is all going.
And on the other side of things, I mean, if you were going to say, what can we do to destroy the nation from within if we opened up the border? What move could we make to open up the border to get crime to flood in here? It's every move the Biden administration has made. It has to be by design. The coincidence of it being just by chance, no way that adds up. It has to be by design.
No, and think about the fentanyl coming across the border. Fentanyl is a massive weapon of mass destruction. I don't mean to, but the fentanyl's touched every community coming from China. It's actually eroding the fabric of our society. Remember that. So, sorry, I had to jump in.
And nothing is being done about it. You can jump in anytime you want on me, Lieutenant Colonel. You're the best man going. I appreciate you coming on, as always.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, you got it. All right, folks, here's a question for you. If all home air purifiers are the same, why did the U.S. Department of Defense select EnviroCleanse to protect and purify the air on board our Navy ships? EnviroCleanse is the new science in air purification, and now you can order one for your home. This is how you help stop colds and flu from taking your whole family down with their patented earth mineral technology plus hospital-grade HEPA filters. EnviroCleanse destroys cold and flu viruses, COVID, allergy, inflaming toxins, mold, and even more. And here's the EnviroCleanse promise: far fewer colds and allergies and better sleep. Visit ekpure.com. Use code NEWS for 10% off your EnviroCleanse home air purification unit and free air quality monitor, plus fast free shipping. That's $150 savings. Here's the website again: ekpure.com, code NEWS. ekpure.com, code word NEWS. All right, the House GOP tried to get to the bottom of why Dr. Fauci was discouraging the lab leak theory. Discouraging, that's the understatement of the year. A hearing yesterday had some interesting answers to all of this. We're going to break that down for you.
Hi, I'm Arthur Lee, founder, CEO, and inventor of LifeVac, a simple rescue device that could save a child's life in a choking emergency. All these people were saved with LifeVac.
He was turning blue, and it happened really fast. After several plunges of the device, a miracle.
As soon as I did that last pull, his eyes popped open, and he started gasping for air. Place, push, pull.
To learn more, please visit lifevac.net.
Here at Allegiance Flag Supply, we take pride in providing such a special symbol for our country. All of our flag's materials are sourced in America, and they are made by American seamstresses. So we are American made from beginning to end.
We're told in Genesis chapter 1:26 that God has made man in his image, and by his likeness has he made him.
Genesis is a book of fundamental importance for the Jewish and Christian faiths, and a literary masterpiece that has profoundly shaped Western civilization. Now, in this exclusive online course from Hillsdale College, you can deepen your understanding of how this ancient book is essential to you today. Sign up for the Genesis story, absolutely free, at learnfromhillsdale.org. Dr. Justin Jackson, a distinguished Hillsdale College professor, will guide you through this fascinating free online course that unfolds the biblical stories of Adam and Eve, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph. When you sign up, you'll explore some of life's most important questions, gain a greater appreciation for how the Bible confronts pain and hardship with redemption and hope, and discover how the struggles people faced thousands of years ago are deeply relevant to us still today. Take this 6-lesson course whenever it's most convenient for you, at your pace or on your schedule. Signing up is easy and free when you go to learnfromhillsdale.org today.
hearing the importance of even the simplest of lines from the text truly expands the understanding of the Bible.
The passionate way the instructor presents each point and why it's important is masterful.
Join the hundreds of thousands of Americans who are enriching their lives through this exclusive online course from Hillsdale College and gain access to this premium content today.
What I hope you'll get from studying Genesis in this course is a deeper appreciation of the biblical insights with regards to the human person, psychology, our predilection towards rivalry, but also reconciliation.
Sign up for the Genesis story, free of charge, at learnfromhillsdale.org today.
The bathroom of your dreams is only a phone call away with BCI Bath & Shower. We can make your ordinary bath and shower extraordinary. This is not a cookie-cutter design. This is a complete custom build that will fit your every need, and discounts for seniors and military.
Welcome back, everyone. You know, in many respects, I'm left shaking my head. How in the world are we still talking about where the China virus originated? Well, we know it came from Wuhan, and we know it came from the lab. It's an absolute fact now. I don't even think it's in dispute. Even Christopher Wray, during today's hearing, confirmed that the FBI believes the most plausible origin is the lab. Yet I want to tell you the story of Dr. Anderson and a fellow researcher that get on a conference call and send an email saying, yeah, it has to be from the lab. Well, they're discouraged from that philosophy. And then 3 days later, they write a paper saying, no. It came from nature or the wet market or whatever. And then they get a big giant grant from Dr. Fauci, who was discouraging the idea of it coming from the lab. Why? To cover from China. Well, that was the subject of a hearing. This is GOP Representative John Joyce asking that scientist about what's going on here.
Dr. Anderson, you also said in your testimony, we do not believe that any type of laboratory-based scenario is plausible. And yet the conclusions by the Department of Energy and the FBI directly contradict your position. How do you bring that together?
I think you could say that our conclusions completely contradict their conclusions too. I think it's important to understand that we are looking at different things here. You're talking about the intelligence community. If you look at the scientific literature, the scientific evidence for this pointing to a single market in the middle of Wuhan is overwhelming.
The scientific evidence isn't there. The scientific evidence shows that there are markers that this was man-made, and that is widely accepted as fact. James Comer tried to get to the bottom of all of this as well.
Your co-author says on the poster right behind me what the real political narrative is. Quote, given the show that would happen if anyone serious accused the Chinese of even accidental release. Dr. Anderson, you responded to this message, quote, yep, I totally agree, that's a very reasonable conclusion. Although I hate when politics is injected into science, but it's impossible not to, especially given the circumstance, end quote. Sir, do you have a degree in political science or international relations?
I do not.
Yeah, I do not. I don't even know how he got his degree in science, quite frankly. Because in the end, money talks. And that's what happened here. And Fauci and his crew was doing everything they could to cover for China. Well, with me now to discuss what was talked about in that congressional hearing is the founder of the Global COVID Summit, scientist and former director of orbital oncology at MD Anderson Cancer Center. Dr. Richard Urso is back with us. Doctor, it's good to see you.
It's great to be here, and I think you've summed it really well. This is clearly an engineered virus, and they have papers to prove it. They did the ACE2 receptor. They passed through humanized mice. They have a TMPRSS2, which helps it get down in the deeper lungs, never before seen in a coronavirus. There's a furin cleavage site that's actually never before seen in a coronavirus. There's a GP120 fragment from HIV, never before seen in a coronavirus. There's the disturbance of DNA damage repair in P53, never before seen in a coronavirus. There's a toll-like disruption for viral immune surveillance, never before seen in a coronavirus. There's multiple things here that have never before seen in a coronavirus, and we have papers that show that they actually published, and we're very proud of what they did, and then they moved the entire project to China. So the origins are originally from North Carolina, Ralph Barrick, and lots of the engineering was done in the U.S. and then moved to China. It's clearly well documented, and it's kind of funny we're still here 3 years later.
Yeah. So, it's great, Dr. Urso, because I bring you on to talk about these complicated things. But you know me, my specialty, I'm really just a street guy. I oversimplify everything, and I look at it this way. We haven't found one animal, bat, pangolin, walrus, elephant, I don't know, that was infected with COVID. But we did find humans in the Wuhan lab, and patient 0 comes from there. Patient 1, 2, and 3 come from there. So it looks to me like if you got infected patients in the lab and no infected animals in the market or in nature, what more do you need?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think the medical literature is so clear here that I'm actually almost ashamed for him as a human being and a scientist that he's sticking to that story. It's shameful. It's shameful.
Have you ever seen, Doctor? So
if I walk in with blonde hair tomorrow and I tell everybody, hey, I didn't dye my hair. It's shameful.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
I've never seen somebody come to one conclusion, especially where you've got to do some research, that it comes from the lab. Give that analysis to the experts, so-called, which they really turned out not to be experts inside NIH, and then 3 days later make a total about face. How does a scientist do that in 3 days? Isn't that nearly impossible?
And I'm going to say this. This is where I've learned over the last 3 years that, our most creative people don't work for the United States government. They don't. They're the most they've made their positions because they are, in a sense, he says he's a political scientist. I think he is a political scientist. He's not a scientist. A real scientist would be embarrassed to say this. This is embarrassing. And the only way you can say it is because you're truly not a scientist. And the best and brightest of our country do not work for the U.S. government. I'm sorry to tell everybody that, but this is shameful. I just can't say the same thing over and over. We need to move on. It was made in North Carolina, moved to China. Somehow it got out, whether it was accidental or not, we don't know. But clearly it's not from a wet market. This is absurdity.
All of this comes back to Dr. Fauci. I want you to listen to RFK Jr. He's running for president. I'm warning all my fellow conservatives, this guy's not a conservative just because he's anti-vax and free speech. But every now and then he says some interesting things. Here, it became clear to me that the guy is now a presidential candidate. Watch this clip from RFK Jr.
I think he caused a lot of injury. I think that he, particularly by withholding early treatment from Americans, we racked up the highest death count in the world. So we only have 4.2% of the globe's population, but we had 16% of the COVID deaths in this country. And there are many, many things that we did wrong in this country. And some of those were, I would say, knowingly.
You listen to what he says, Dr. Urso, and you listen to what he says, and you say, okay, I agree with that. Except the question was, is Dr. Fauci a criminal? He wouldn't say he's a criminal. Dr. Fauci's a murderer, Dr. Urso, by holding back real treatment of this virus, like ivermectin and hydrochloroquine that could have saved lives, sticking people in nursing homes, not to mention shutting down and the damage it did to children with this mask nonsense. I think he's a criminal to the utmost degree.
I'm gonna agree with you in that sense, and I'll tell you why. Because they know better. They're scientific enough to know the pandemic policies that they implemented hurt people. And I always say, if you think that you can't treat something, you can mitigate. We don't cure hypertension. We don't cure many diseases, but we go out of our way to mitigate. And so we could have mitigated the inflammation, the potential blood clotting. We could have mitigated some of the respiratory compromise, even if we didn't have something that helped with the virus, that we did have things that were very good against the virus. So in 4 stages of analysis for the medical side of things, they failed on every one of them. And it's awful that they didn't try to mitigate the damage, because literally 900,000 people died because of poor pandemic policy, not because of the lack of available treatments. As you said, don't forget, ivermectin. It's not just hydroxychloroquine. We're talking steroids. They wouldn't let us use prednisone and things like that we use on a daily basis. I probably prescribe prednisone products over 1,000 times a year. It's a very ubiquitous thing. We use it all the time in medicine for inflammation. And for people who don't know, the virus was only alive for 5 to 7 days. So you had inflammation after that. People died in the second and third week from the inflammatory side.
Well, this is why far too many people are pushing dandelions now that shouldn't have been. And I put that straight on Dr. Fauci and the others. Dr. Urso, it is great having you on the program. Thank you, sir, for coming on.
Thank you so much.
All right, absolutely. Talk about trying to cure disease. I try to cure diseases on this program every day. I try to cure liberalism. That's got to be a disease because I don't know how else to explain it. All right, Stinchfield is the antidote to liberalism. All right, protect yourself, folks, with gold today by texting America to the number 989898. I talk about Birch Gold all the time. These are guys I can trust. We've got a centralized digital currency on the way. They want to track your every move. We've got chaos in the world. We've got inflation going through the roof. Not to mention gold has been an absolutely fabulous investment. So if you're interested in this, if you're interested in protecting some of your money with a commodity like gold, I urge you to get in touch with my friends over at Birch Gold. So protect yourself. Again, here's how you do it. All you have to do, take your phone right now, type America in there in the text box to 989898. America to 989898. Don't be too late on all of this. Get with the program now. See if it's right for you. Birch Gold will help you make that decision. America to the number 989898. All right, folks, coming up after the break. The media has branded Senator Tommy Tuberville a racist following his comments on white nationalism. Is there anything to this story the media is going crazy over?
At first, just leaving the house was hard.
But Wounded Warrior Project helps you realize it's possible to get out there.
To feel a sense of camaraderie again.
To find the tools to live life better.
Through generous community support, we've connected warriors and their families with no-cost physical and mental health services, legislative advocacy, career assistance, and life skill training for 20 years. And we're just getting started.
Hi, I'm Caleb, and this is my story. I was born with osteogenesis imperfecta or brittle bone disease. I have broken my bones almost 200 times, and I have had 11 surgeries. But I didn't let that stop me. I love to bike ride, climb, race, and I'm learning how to stand and walk. But I can only do all of this because of generous people like you and Shriners Hospitals for Children.
Because of people like you, Shriners Hospitals for Children has helped more than 1.3 million kids just like me, regardless of their family's ability to pay.
Shriners Hospitals for Children is only able to provide this world-class, life-changing medical care because of the generous gifts of people just like you.
Because of you, I can ride my bike. I can play basketball.
Because of people like you, I can run.
I can smile.
Will you send your love to the rescue today?
When you go to loveshriners.org right now and give just 63 cents a day, you're helping kids just like me.
Like me. Like me.
When you give today, we'll send you this adorable Love to the Rescue blanket as a thank you and a reminder of the love you gave to a kid just like me.
Your gift, no matter how small, can help a child today.
This is your moment to make a difference.
When you pick up your phone, I know you have it right there, and call to give. You're helping kids like me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Please call or go online now. If operators are busy, please call again or give right away at loveshriners.org.
Your gift makes a difference. Thank you for giving.
Here at Allegiance Flag Supply, we grew sick and tired of flying flags that were made overseas, flags that would rip and tear easily, so we really made a commitment to quality.
All of our flags are finished with bar tacking at all of the stress points, and they are sewn using double needle lock stitching.
All of our flags materials are sourced in America, and they are made by American seamstresses. So we're American made from beginning to end.
Shop now at showallegiance.com.
Well, folks, I don't know if you heard about this controversy surrounding Senator Tommy Tuberville, the Republican senator, for this CNN setup job, which is what I really believe it was. They asked him about white nationalism. Now, white nationalism is a phrase that the liberals have made up. I've never heard Republicans talk about white nationalism. Republicans aren't racist, folks. Now, I've heard us talk about nationalism, Christian nationalism, and I'll get into some of that, but never white nationalism. See, this was a setup. Here's what got Tommy Tuberville into hot water.
You agree that white nationalists should not be serving in the U.S. military. Is that what you're saying?
If people think that a white nationalist is a racist, I agree with that. I agree they should.
A white nationalist is someone who believes that the white race is superior to other races.
Well, that's some people's opinion. And I don't think,
That's not an opinion.
Pardon?
What's your opinion?
My opinion of a white nationalist, if somebody wants to call them white nationalist, to me is an American. It's an American. Now, if that white nationalist is a racist, I'm totally against anything that they want to do because I am 110% against racism.
Now, you look up any definition of white nationalism and it'll tell you that it's about white supremacy. But again, this isn't about what Tommy Tuberville is saying. This is about attacking nationalism. See, they put any moniker in front of nationalism that they want, the liberals, as a campaign to go after all of us and label non-racists as racist. Tommy Tuberville's not a racist, and he doesn't support white supremacy. I'm not a racist, and I don't support white supremacy. But I do support nationalism. Nationalism is a love of country. The left despises that. I do support something they also despise, Christian nationalism. If supporting Christianity, Judeo-Christian principles that this country was founded on, and loving country and God makes me a Christian nationalist, well then count me in. So here it's either Christian nationalism or white nationalism. It's whatever it is about labeling this moniker on people to show the world that they can demonize them in the eyes of the media. Just listen to CNN here.
And this is part of a long tradition, I think, particularly among white Southerners of a certain age, of sort of downplaying racism in the South, downplaying racism in America, downplaying a racist themselves. And so there he is. At some point, he seems to suggest that white nationalists are just sort of ordinary white Americans who love their country. So listen, again, I don't think it's by accident that he is doing it. I think it's something that really has led to, for instance, Nick Fuentes being a headliner at a college Republican convention.
See, here's where the setup job was so successful. They made this a conversation about white nationalism when what they really knew were they going after patriots. It had nothing to do with racism or white or black, but it has to do with nationalism. Because if you're not a nationalist, then what are you? A globalist? Well, I don't want to be a globalist. I love American sovereignty. It's what makes this country the greatest nation in the world. I'm not a globalist. So call me a nationalist. The problem is it's liberals that throw other phrases in front of the term nationalist to besmirch everyone. And let's face it, when I call myself a Christian nationalist, I love God, I love my country. The real threat isn't Christians in this country. The real threat isn't patriots in this country. The real threat in this country comes from a godless government that doesn't respect God at all, or the founding fathers' vision for this country that was based off of the principles laid out in the Bible. This is Chuck Schumer talking about Tommy Tuberville.
The senator from Alabama is wrong, wrong, wrong. The definition of white nationalism is not a matter of opinion. White nationalism, the ideology that one race is inherently superior to others, that people of color should be segregated, subjected, and relegated to second-class citizenship, is racist.
Turn him off. Turn him off. I'm not going to let him do it. I'm not going to let him spew the talking points that, again, everyone is racist. The only people I hear talk about white nationalism are liberals. People like Chuck Schumer. There's no Republicans talking about white nationalism. We do talk about patriotism. But in the end, what happens when the CNNs and the MSNBCs and the Chuck Schumers, they all jump on board, they get you to submit. This is Tommy Tuberville the day after he made those comments.
Listen, I'm totally against racism. And if the Democrats want to say that white nationalists are racist, I'm totally against that too.
But that's not a Democratic definition. The definition of a white nationalist
well,
is
that's
someone...
your definition. My definition is racism bad.
The definition is that the belief that the white race is superior to all other races.
Totally out of the question.
So do you believe that white nationalists are racist?
Yes. If that's what a racist is, yes. Thank you.
Needed to look at the media and say your setup job's not going to work a second day in a row. This white nationalism idea is your phrase, not mine. I don't believe in racism, but I do believe in patriotism. So you want to call me a nationalist, go right at it. I'm not a globalist. Somebody needs to counsel Tommy Tuberville. I think he's a good guy, and I think he got caught in the evil working ways of the mainstream media. All right, folks, can Kamala Harris define the term artificial intelligence? She has none. How could she? We'll see for ourselves next.
Looks like you've been sleeping well.
Megan, he's back. The My Pillow guy.
And you're looking good.
Still feeling good.
Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, we've got the best pillow ever, My Pillow 2.0. I'm interrupting this commercial to let you all know that you have made My Pillow 2.0 a huge success. And because of your amazing support, we've expanded My Pillow's USA manufacturing and jobs. To make room for this, we're clearing out our Percale bed sheets. And to thank you, I'm giving them to you at close-out prices. King size, only $39 a set. Queens, $35 a set. Full size, $29, and twin size, just $25. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to take advantage of this once-in-a-lifetime offer. Get these My Pillow bed sheets now. Once they're gone for good.
There's a new victim of identity theft every 3 seconds. And checking your credit score or bank statements may not be enough to alert you. That's because identity threats appear in more places than you realize. Identity thieves can use your information to open loans, transfer home titles, even commit crimes.
Someone stole my information and tried to buy a car in my name.
LifeLock monitors for threats to your identity, including ones you may miss, and alerts you if there's an issue. And if you're a victim, your dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it.
If something happens, you have somebody fighting for you.
All plans backed by LifeLock's $1 Million Protection Package, including reimbursement for stolen funds.
I know LifeLock has me covered.
LifeLock, identity theft protection starts here. Call the number on your screen or visit lifelock.com/25now and use promo code 25now to save 25% on your first year of identity theft protection. Enroll now.
Here are some of the headlines we are featuring today from your favorite news outlets at offthepress.com. It's a scandal that is nearly 2 weeks old, but the public still knows very little about who left a bag of cocaine near the White House Situation Room entrance. And it appears the stonewalling will continue because the Secret Service is refusing to reveal what its investigation has found so far. The 2024 presidential campaign of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis isn't going great. But one thing's for sure, he doesn't want to be vice president, no matter how many times people link him to frontrunner Donald Trump. President Biden has created another way for illegal immigrants to get into the country in his latest effort to game the border numbers. And the National League finally won an All-Star game after 9 straight losses. A late 2-run homer by Rockies catcher Elias Diaz sealed the win, 3-2. For stories like these and more updates all day long from your favorite news outlets, go to offthepress.com.
So Kamala Harris never ceases to amaze me. Her intellectual prowess is just on point lately. Listen to this one.
And I think the first part of this issue that should be articulated is AI is kind of a fancy thing. It's, first of all, it's 2 letters. It means artificial intelligence. But ultimately what it is it's about machine learning.
Artificial intelligence. AI, 2 letters, means artificial intelligence. Thanks a lot, Kamala Harris. Ding dong is the sound your brain makes bouncing around your head. That's what a ding dong is. And sadly, that's what Kamala Harris is. I know my friends back home don't like me calling people names, but I don't know how else to describe Kamala Harris. She talks to the American people as if we're all kindergartners. We're not. She's the ding dong. We are not. All right? It's going to do it for us today, folks. Thanks so much for watching. Stinchfield's Army rolls. Thanks to all of you. We'll see you back here tomorrow night.
Live from Studio 6B on a Wednesday night, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. Real America's Voice. Glad you're a part of the show. As always, Slick Rick's going to be doing sports. Rick Delgado's got the news. Aaron and Fran holding it down, as always, on a busy Wednesday. Glad you're a part of the show, as always. Let's do an early roll call right now. Let's get people to tell us where they're watching, city, state, what platform.